What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Commentary for you. Before I get into this, I want to lay a couple things out here. First and foremost, it's my opinion, yours can vary, that this is not done maliciously. This is not done emotionally. I believe that Alexis was truly a friend to Amber, saw her starting to engage in a situation she felt was not good, gave her a choice in the matter, essentially saw her friend choose someone else other than her, and she feels that it is her responsibility to share information. Having said that, I also think it's very telling that Amber, more than ever really, the past couple weeks, has spoke about this leaving YouTube, finding a job, supporting herself in other ways. And when you hear the things that came out in the first video, that came out in this video, that possibly will come out in the third video, it makes you wonder if Amber didn't say those things with the understanding that if Alexis were to kind of reveal what's happening, would she be in a position where she would lose a lot of support? Because I feel like Alexis's situation is not unique to the point that she admits she looked up to Amber. She was surprised that Amber responded to her and they formed this friendship. This is very, very much like what we heard from Brittany and Erica, that they reached out, they'd watched for a long time, they didn't expect a response, and then there Amber was communicating to them, and then things kind of went in a direction they ultimately might not have expected, but nevertheless, they were there. So Alexis says she was going through a breakup of her own around July of last year. She says this is around the time Amber and Jade broke up. She reached out to Amber through Instagram, and she doesn't give explicit detail, but she does say she quickly learns that her and Amber really would not be able to be, more than friends. She also says that during her and Amber speaking, she attempted to reconcile her relationship and that Amber was very aggravated and frustrated by that taking place. She actually describes herself as the first person Amber had spoke with, I guess from a almost relationship or friendship standpoint after Jade. She then says, obviously, as I said, as a viewer, she didn't expect her to respond. She had watched her for years and was kind of starstruck and was willing to continue the friendship until Tommy. But now that Tommy's entered, she says it's too late. She doesn't feel as if she or the friendship they had, the bond they created, was valued by Amber and the choices she made. She does go on to talk about this crumble cookie video. Now, this video was supposedly made for Erica. She says the video starts with Amber doing a food review, but quickly turns into a quote, crazy moment with the cookie. Alexis describes this as, quote, disturbing, but also a masterpiece. She says that when Amber sent this to her, she asked Alexis to come on to FaceTime so they could watch it together and she could get a live reaction from Alexis and then ask, quote, if she liked it. Alexis said the video was sent completely unsolicited. It fell during a time she was dating Tommy. She puts up an image to verify all of this. And she says, based on the friendship that they had, Alexis would have never asked her to create or send content like this because they didn't have kind of a relationship that bordered around that. She does go on to say that Eric has reached out to her, and Alexis is mindful that this could have been a setup, but she also thinks it speaks more to Amber kind of using and positioning her real life friendships to balance into her YouTube channel. She posts messages between her and Eric that serve to back up this story. And she also tells Amber that if she's going to move, if she's going to continue this relationship with Tommy, to not attempt to reach out to her for assistance. She goes into a call that took place after the deleted Amberlynn live stream. Alexis said at that point she felt maybe they could still work things out. However, Amber, and she does post text messages that in a way align with this thought process. Amber essentially demands an apology to both her and Tommy be made publicly. She goes on to say that Alexis triggered her BPD, embarrassed her, and created an event that will lead to her being ridiculed. Some of those are direct quotes, more specifically, the ridiculed aspect. Alexis says that she felt Amber had cashed in on this friendship and that, she has been doxxed, she has had her job impacted, and Amber, in a way, took that for granted. Amber asks her to leave a concert she's went to so that they can discuss this, and Alexis kind of positions this in a way that Amber wanted to have control over her, what she was doing. But Alexis does admit she leaves, but then realizes during the course of the conversation Amber was simply parroting the same thoughts that she had sent to her in text form. And in closing, she does mention that there have been some concerns raised regarding Tommy's child, and she feels that the high road must be maintained, but she does appreciate everyone that has reached out to her regarding the current breakup she's went through and overall supporting her in this endeavor. So I think that final point does kind of go back to serve to what I spoke about at first. I really don't believe that, she's coming out with this intent to defame Amber or gain notoriety for this. I do feel like as a friend, she probably feels like she poured a lot of her heart out and tried to give Amber a lot of support, and she feels as if she's been betrayed. Would agree that, in a sense, Amber almost demanding a public apology be made would frustrate someone if they feel that they're in the right stance, if they feel they're doing the just thing, and then the person that isn't says, well, now you need to come out and apologize to me and my partner publicly when you really don't have any rationale for that. So essentially, I would say to Alexis's point, Amber was almost asking for this. She was almost saying, listen, come out, create content, tell everyone that you're sorry. That's what we demand of you. And instead, Alexis basically said, listen, I'll do those things, but I'm not going to do what you want me to do or what you expect me to do. And she is very even keel. She is very, monotone during these videos. I don't sense a lot of emotions running through this because I feel like to her it was more than likely simply just a friendship that she was losing, which is never good. But she's also kind of laying the framework that it may be something more for Amber. And I'm sure Amber is going to have a response to this, which is likely going to be emotional from what we've seen. And I guess as kind of a closing segment to this, I know that Chantal went out and, rode around the desert, got coffee, got pastries, I'm sure, looked at camels. Chantal, you have to do something more with your life. Jumping on a sofa, eating on camera, and then driving out to the desert to be with a camel twice a month is not going to facilitate content. And I don't mean that you must sit here and create these relationships that dissolve or all this drama for people to speak about, but you're essentially doing something a kindergartner would for a field trip each day. And you expect that that's going to captivate the attention of adults, and it's just not going to happen. I don't mind talking about, what's happened in those videos or these videos, but at the same point, it just becomes mind numbing to watch someone be driven around the desert and eat foods that they know they shouldn't have. So with that said, I appreciate you watching this video. I'm very much looking forward not only to Amber's response and how she wants to kind of work against everything Alexis is kind of building, but more importantly, the third video that Alexis is going to put out, which seems to be very responsive to what the community asks. And if you go over and look at her video, there are a lot of very detailed questions, which she is not straying away from. Appreciate you watching this. I'll be back soon as I can with more commentary.